Good Wednesday to you. I'm Storm Team 9 Meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with your ENC Weather update for this February the 19th, 2014. Some boomers this morning across eastern North Carolina. We're going to watch for maybe a shower or two later on tonight. Not a big issue tonight. Not expecting any storms to really start to fire up. But the main storms come in as we head towards Friday. So we'll look at that and also look ahead to the cool down that we're expecting as we head into the next several days. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. A couple of little light returns back over into the Sandhills and the southern Piedmont this evening. We're just seeing some clouds kind of push through the region along this frontal boundary. Underneath those clouds, maybe a shower tonight. Not a big issue, but you see back over here towards the west, that frontal boundary is starting to become a little bit more stationary and will likely become a warm front as we head into tomorrow. High pressure trying to build back into the region behind this little system. Overall, tomorrow is going to be a dry day across eastern Carolina, but we're still going to be dealing with clouds and moisture streaming in through a lot of levels of the atmosphere. So we'll take you through the precision forecast model. Once again, a stray shower or two. Not a big issue tonight. Overnight lows into the upper 40s and low 50s. Could start off with some patchy areas of fog, especially in areas that saw some rain this morning. And up to the north along the border belt, maybe a touch cooler, maybe right around the mid-40s through the overnight. Then we head into tomorrow afternoon, making any lunch plans. We should stay dry. Temperatures into the mid to upper 60s, low 70s down south. And this as our winds start to turn more southerly through the afternoon hours. We're going to start off with easterly winds, and then they switch around to the south through the afternoon. Then we go into about 3 o'clock. We'll likely go mostly cloudy. So we'll call it a mix of sun and clouds for your Thursday. High temperatures and mainly into the upper 60s and low 70s. Southern areas maybe into the mid 70s. Coastal areas in the 60s, mid 60s through the afternoon. Then things start to break up just a touch through Thursday night ahead of our next system, but a couple of showers could be in there as well. So here's a look at the precision forecast model. This system is going to deepen, and man, oh man, it's going to bomb out starting Thursday night as it lifts off towards the north, and most indications have this going from about a 998 low that's kind of centered over St. Louis or just north of St. Louis down to about a 976 low or deeper into the Great Lakes as this lifts off towards the north within a 24-hour period. So definitely a bombogenesis type of situation here as this thing comes into the fold. So you look here, and here's a Friday morning. This is about 1:30 in the morning. That line of showers and thunderstorms stretching all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. Nice moisture feed out ahead of this, and that's going to stream up right along the frontal boundary. This is going to be a primarily damaging wind threat, but there are going to be some pockets back here in the west, back in the West Tennessee, western half of Kentucky, southern Illinois, the Boot Hill of Missouri, and also into northeast Arkansas that could have enough rotation where that low pressure spins to get maybe a few tornadoes going. We're just kind of looking at the trends here. The SPC still has a slight risk out for this, but primarily this is going to be a damaging wind threat as that low lifts off towards the north. Then we move it towards 6 o'clock in the morning. We're dry here, but we're cloudy, and a very strong southerly breeze developing. Here's noontime, and that line of showers and thunderstorms approaching us from the west at that point. Some of these could be on the strong side, possibly even severe. We'll talk about that here in just a second, but it gets all offshore by the time we head towards the evening hours and the overnight hours, and by Saturday, we're all in the clear as high pressure will try to reestablish itself by Sunday. So here's a look at the wind forecast, and tomorrow we're going to start off with northeasterly winds. They will turn southerly through the afternoon, 10-15 miles per hour, so it's going to be another breezy day. But as that frontal boundary approaches us by noontime on Friday, you see the winds coming southwesterly along the I-95 corridor, southerly as you head further to the east and back off to the west of I-95. The winds are westerly, 10, 20, 25 mile per hour winds. That's sustained winds potentially. Could even have higher gusts than that as that line pushes through. And then everything's offshore by the time we head towards Friday evening. It's 7 o'clock, and you see pretty much everything's offshore. Everything's gone westerly inland, and winds dying down behind the front. So here's our threat tracker. Heavy rain in the low to medium category, as well as the damaging wind threat. Call it a quarter to half an inch possible. There could be the potential for some large hail. We'll watch that. Gusty storms possibly. Winds 30, 40, 50 mile per hour winds possibly as the low deepens. And then tornado risk is going to be in the minimal category. Just not a lot of turning within the atmosphere through the different levels. Very unidirectional flow we're expected here. There could be a couple of spin-ups along the front, but mainly we're just talking about that linear line that will be pushing through the region. So they've gone ahead and issued a slight risk for severe weather for our neck of the woods. That includes pretty much the entire state of North Carolina, all the way from the Panhandle of Florida all the way up into the Delmarva Peninsula in southern New Jersey. The probabilistic outlook on that, the best chance for severe weather right now, it looks like would be from about Columbia, South Carolina, northward to the eastern shore of Virginia and southern Maryland, eastern Maryland. With this line of storms that'll be pushing through. So that's something else that we're going to be watching as well. But the first part of the severe weather threat will come in as we head towards Thursday, mainly for the Ohio and mid-Mississippi River Valley. Here's a look at the 12Z GFS 500 millibar chart, and there's your upper air energy coming through the flow right through here, through portions. We'll draw it on here, right through here. And that's going to be lifting off towards the north and east as we head into Thursday afternoon. That's going to be your main source of energy. Very diffluent flow ahead of that. That's why we're talking about that potential for strong to severe storms through the mid-Mississippi Valley, also back into the Ohio River Valley. And the 12Z GFS has a very strong 985 low into southern Iowa. Very strong, and look at the tight isobaric lines all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico along the cold front, the warm front lifting northward. You see that through southern Michigan, the lower part of southern Michigan, and all the way through Ohio as well. They're looking at the potential for flooding rains along with this as well. This is Friday, and you see how the energy all gets locked up towards the north. It doesn't come straight across like this. It actually goes up towards the north and bypasses us, but there's still very good diffluent flow through eastern North Carolina. A little piece of energy trailing behind. That's going to be your cold front pushing through. And like I said, there's going to be the potential for strong storms with this. A lot of unidirectional flow is going to be very, very pivotal here. That's why we're talking about more so damaging wind gusts as that line pushes through. Environmental winds 20, 30 miles per hour. That's going to be a good bet, but look at the low pressure center. 972 on the GFS, north into Canada. Man, oh man, that's a deep low, and the winds will be howling around that low. But by midnight, most of this is offshore. There may be a couple of light showers still lingering around for the coastal areas, and we'll make that mention as well, especially if the front, which has the potential to lock up right offshore, we could have a couple of showers for the Outer Banks and the Crystal Coast on early on Saturday morning, and we'll take you out to Saturday afternoon, and everything's offshore. So if anything's going to happen, it would be early on Saturday morning, but I think that pretty much everything's going to be offshore by that point. Temperatures going to be in the 70s both Thursday and Friday, and then we drop those temperatures into the 60s by Saturday afternoon. Likely start off with mostly cloudy skies, and then sunshine comes back by the afternoon. Pretty zonal flow pulling through here on Sunday, but you see a little trailing piece of energy down here in that flow that could actually bring up a chance for some showers. Now, the GFS has it further down to the south, but that little ripple down through there, through Oklahoma and North Texas, that may be able to be pushing this moisture through South Alabama, South Mississippi, South Georgia, and Panhandle, Florida. May be able to push that further off towards the north. And you see that trying to sneak in there by the evening hours of Sunday and possibly sneaking in here by Monday. That's off the GFS. The Europeans a little quicker with that and a little bit more robust as far as trying to get the moisture back in here. Now we head out towards Monday, and I think this is where the models get a little bit more interesting as we head towards the end of the week. Now we're going to have a frontal boundary push through the area, kind of lay itself across the region on Monday. Now you see the 540 thickness line right in through here, and that is meaning that we're going to have that frontal boundary kind of laying itself right across our region. So we're going to have this boundary kind of sinking southward, and if you just get enough energy to come across that, obviously that could spell for some interesting things. Right now we're leaning towards a dry day on Monday, but Tuesday may turn a little bit more interesting. Look at all this energy up here towards the north. That's a lot of energy that's coming down the flow with this very progressive west-northwest flow. The European is much more aggressive with that energy, and some of the ensemble members of the GFS are painting its potential for some moisture moving into the region. Now, I still have temperatures in the 50s on Tuesday, and most indications keep the 540 line kind of straddling our area on Tuesday. You see it right there along the Virginia state border. But I'll tell you now that the European has another area of low pressure, very similar to what the GFS is painting down here, but is much more defined and continues to move up towards the coast, and it kind of wraps around some of that moisture into the cold air. Now, I don't think that this at this point, not a snow look at all. But there will be a threat north of us as we head towards Tuesday. I don't think the models are really picking up on that very well at this point, so we'll watch that closely. That's still out there, 6 days out, but right now we're going to make the mention for maybe some showers on Tuesday with highs in the 50s, and then dropping off as we head towards Wednesday, still with a chance for showers. I just don't believe the models right now are picking up, and some of the ensembles have kind of picked up on this chance. The Europeans on board, so we'll watch this closely. I think there may be another system that comes down the pipeline, and I think on Wednesday we may stay in the 40s and 50s that day. You see the cold air advection coming into the flow, 540 line stretching across the state, but we're dry on the GFS. But like I said, the models are having a hard time picking up on this energy coming across the area. This is the end of the forecast period. This will be next Thursday morning, and if that verifies, we'd just be cold and dry. Showers would be outbreaking down south into the Florida Panhandle along the I-10 corridor. That's going to do it for me here on the ENC Weather Update. You can stay up to date with us, Facebook, Twitter, WNCT.com. We'll keep you updated on the potential for strong to severe storms as we head towards Friday with the next update here tomorrow evening. Have a great rest of your evening, a great day tomorrow, and a great weather week ahead.